All right, let's begin the chapter review, Chapter 11, Measurement Review. Please open up to page 883. On page 883, we have just a quick vocabulary check. And I know we didn't focus a ton on the vocabulary, but we would have learned the vocabulary as we went through the chapter. So let's just review quickly. It says the capacity of a container is which of the following? Remember, capacity is the amount of liquid or the amount that a container can hold. So we measured capacity when we had fluid ounces, gallons, quarts, pints, cups, ounces, liters, and milliliters. So the amount that it can hold is the capacity, letter D. Number 2, customary units of length are measured in which of the following? Remember, customary units of length are the system we use in the United States. So we're going to just add a note. Customary is the U.S. system. And remember, we use the U.S. system is feet, inches, yards, and miles to measure length in the United States. Okay? Then the metric system is based on which of the following? Well, the metric system is the other system we used, and that's really what the rest of the world uses to measure. We use that here in the United States too, but we have both the customary and metric systems. So the metric system is based on the decimal system, and that's why we see even tens, hundreds, thousands when we do the conversions in the metric system. That leads us to number 4. It says when you convert from feet to inches, you are doing which of the following? Well, when we convert any measurement of length, we are simply changing the measurement unit. Okay, we are not determining mass or capacity or volume. Okay, we are changing that measurement unit when we do a conversion, and a measurement unit within that measurement system. So within the customary system or metric system is how we learned in this chapter. And then the last one says when finding the mass of an object, you determine which of the following. Well, when we find a mass, we determine the quantity of matter in an object. And we found mass when we worked with and converted grams to kilograms and milligrams. Okay, mass was that measurement of the amount of matter in an object. Let's turn the page now and let's work with some of these conversions on page 884. You may want your notes from the chapter. I know throughout the chapter I had referred to this yellow, or we attached it as a white sheet. Some of you may have printed that off, and that's fine. You may have taken your notes for the chapter on a different piece of paper. I know throughout the chapter I had written these notes as well. So if you have those available, you're going to want to have those out during this review, and you'll want to use them for the chapter check as well. But today we'll just work on the review. So let's take a look here at number 6. It says 84 inches equals how many feet? Well, in order to convert inches to feet, we need to know those customary units of length as those conversions. So we need to know how many inches are in 1 foot. And right here it shows 1 foot equals 12 inches. So let's write that down. 1 foot equals 12 inches. And if we have 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, well, we're going from inches to feet. So that would be, looking here at our length chart, we have inches to feet. That's a smaller unit to a larger unit, which means we're going to divide. So we're going to take the 84 we have and divide it by 12. Now, if you're not sure how many 12s fit into an 84, you could pull out your multiplication chart if you have one, or look one up on your Chromebook. We say 12 times what gets me to an 84. So 12 going down to the 84 matches up with the 7. So 12 times 7 is 84, which means 84 inches is 7 feet. Let's look at number 7. 9 yards we want to turn into inches. So in this case, look, yards to inches, we're going backwards. We're going from a larger unit to a smaller unit, which means we're going to multiply. So larger to smaller, we know we're going to multiply, but now we need to find out how many yards are equal to how many inches. So 1 yard on here says it's equal to 3 feet or 36 inches. So let's add that. 1 yard equals 36 inches. And if we have that, we said we were going to multiply, so let's take 36 inches times 9 yards. 6 times 9 is 54. We put our 4, regroup our 5. 9 times 3 is 27, plus 5 is 32. So 9 yards is equal to 324 inches. Then let's take a look at let's skip number 8. Let's take a look at number 9. 64,000 pounds is equal to how many tons? Well, now, remember, we are looking at our customary units of weight. 1 ton is equal to 2,000 pounds. So let's add that. 1 ton, capital T for ton, is equal to 2,000 pounds. And if we take a look at the back, we're going from pounds to tons. So here's my pound. We're going to tons. So pounds to tons, smaller to larger, we're going to divide. That means we're going to take our big number, 64,000, and we're going to divide it by 2,000. Well, let's see, how many 2,000s can go into 64,000? Well, we have a couple ways we can do this. One, we could cancel out the 3 zeros on each side and say 64 divided by 2. That makes that much easier. Okay, we have the same amount of zeros on either side, so let's cancel those out. Then 2 can go into a 6 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. Subtract 6, take away 6 is 0. Bring down our 4. Repeat the long division steps. We say 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 take away 4 is 0. And we have nothing left over. So 64,000 pounds divided by 2,000 would give me 32 tons. Okay, we could do the same process without canceling out those zeros. We would just have a 0 to hold these place value spots until we can take 2,000 into 6,400. Okay, and we would still get the 32. It would just be in these last 2 place value spots. All right, let's look at number 10. 7.5 pounds to ounces. So we need to find our conversion with pounds and ounces. Again, using the same customary units of weight. 1 pound is 16 ounces. So let's add that. LB is the abbreviation for pound. 1 pound is 16 ounces. Okay, now pounds to ounces, we're going from pounds to ounces. Big, larger unit back to smaller unit, which means when we're going backwards, we're going to multiply. So if I'm going to multiply, I'm going to say 16 times 7. But then we're going to add on that half of a pound. So let's see here. A half of a pound would be half of 16, which is 8. So we're going to add on that 8 ounces at the end. 6 times 7 is 42. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 4 is 11. And then we're going to add on the 8. So 2 plus 8 is 10. 1 plus 1 is 2. And 1 plus nothing is 1. So 7.5 pounds is equal to 120 ounces. Then let's skip number 11 and let's go on to number 12. 7 pints is equal to how many cups? Well, if I look at my pints and cups, now we are in our customary units of capacity. So we need to know the conversion between pints and cups, and it says 1 pint is equal to 2 cups. So 1 pint equals 2 cups. And if we take a look, let's flip the page over. Capacity, pints to cups. We're going from a larger unit to a smaller unit, so we're going to multiply. Okay, so we say 7 times 2. 7 times 2 is 14. So 7 pints equals 14 cups. Let's take a look at number 13. Now we're going to convert 12 cups into quarts. So we need to know the conversion, cups to quarts. So let's take a look here. We have 1 quart is 2 pints. We know that a pint is 2 cups, so 2 times 2 is 4. 4 cups is 1 quart. I think we had added that on here separate during the lesson, so 4 cups is 1 quart. Let's write that down, and then we will do our conversion. So we have cups to quarts. If we have a cup here, we're going to go to quarts. That means a smaller unit to larger unit. We're going to divide. So we say 12 divided by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So 12 cups equals 3 quarts. Then let's take a look here. 72 pints equals how many gallons? Again, we need that conversion. So pints to gallons. We had written that on the paper as well. 8 pints is 1 gallon. So let's write 8 pints equals 1 gallon. And again, we're going to go from a smaller unit to a larger unit. So pints to gallons means we're going to divide. Pints to gallons, smaller to larger, we're going to divide. So we say 72 divided by 8. 8 can go into 72 9 times equally. That's a basic math fact. So 72 pints equals 9 gallons. Then let's look at number 15. 120 millimeters equals how many centimeters? So millimeters to centimeters. If we look at our chart and our units of length, now we have the metric units of length. 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. So let's write that down. 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. And if we're looking here on the back, we're going from millimeters to centimeters. So millimeters to centimeters is smaller unit to larger, meaning we're going to divide smaller to larger unit. So we take 120 and we're going to divide it by 10. So 10 can go into 1 no times. 10 can go into 12 once. 1 times 10 is 10. 12 take away 10 is 2. Bring down our 0 and repeat. 10 can go into 20 twice. 2 times 10 is 20. And we subtract and we have nothing left over. So 120 millimeters equals 12 centimeters. The last problem we're going to work on is making that line plot of the measurements in the table. So let's take a look here. It says then find the fair share. We're not going to worry about finding the fair share today, but let's plot the measurements in the table, because this is a concept that you will probably see quite often on Odyssey or Freckle or even a forward test. So let's take a look here. It says we have the amount of sports drinks by the gallon, and it shows that we have a fourth, a half, a third, a half, a fourth, a third, and a half. So we need to plot those on the line plot, meaning we need to find our starting point. We need to make a 0, and we need to make a 1. So then we have to plot everything in between. Well, at the halfway point, we can put the half. Between a half and a 0 is 1/4. Okay, we talked about that a little bit back in our fractions unit. If we go the opposite way, between a half and 1/2 is 3/4. Okay, we can even think of that when we think of money as 1/4, 1/2 of a dollar, 3/4 of a dollar, and 1 whole dollar. Now, we also have thirds, I see. And that means we have to take this 0 to 1, and we have to split it into thirds instead of the halves. So if we split it into 3 equal sections, we would be about here and here, meaning we have a 1/3 and a 2/3. Now we have our marks on the line plot, so try and get those written down accurately. And then we take our data and we put an X over each spot for each piece of data in our chart. So I see a 1/4 and a 1/4. That means I need 2 X's over my 1/4. I see a 1/2, another 1/2, and a third 1/2. That means I need 3 X's over the 1/2. Remember, when you make your X's, you want them to line up fairly equally with the previous X's you've put for another data point. And then I have the third. I have 1/3, another third, and a third. So I need 3 X's over my 1/3. Now, we're not going to worry about finding the fair share, but remember, if you were to find the fair share, you would have to add up each of these data points, 1/4 plus 1/4, plus 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3, plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. And you would find that total using our adding fractions strategies. And then we would have to divide by the total number of data points. And there's 8 data points, or 8 X's, so we would take that total and divide by 8 to find the fair share. But we're not going to worry about that today. We wanted to just review how to write that data points on the line plot. So that's our review. Tomorrow we will work on the chapter check.